Good afternoon, traders. It is Tuesday, March 21st, 2017. The U.S. stock market is closed. Well, personally would say we had a spectacular day today. Now, we had um, maybe a couple disappointments, but everything considered, I consider today just spectacular. Now, as far as the statistics go, we had $23,000 in open trade yesterday on the close. We got out today with 21,000 positive. Now, just on the surface thing, that doesn't look too bad. What was kind of disappointing was that on the right after the open, that open trade equity was 36,000, and it just dropped right out of bed along with the Dow. But I consider it quite fortunate that we still got out of this with 21,000, and to make the whole thing even sweeter, we got out. We had all these biotech stocks, and that's where we made that 21,000 on the long side. We got out of those, and then in effect we got short biotech, and we're holding only two positions. But we have over $7,000 positive in open trade going into tomorrow. Now, it just doesn't happen that way very often, folks. We get out of our long positions with big profits, and we get into a couple of new positions that basically reverse that, and we make money on those too. It just doesn't get better than that, and that's why I consider this spectacular, even though we gave up quite a bit in the first 45 minutes of the day. You can see what happened to the Dow. Holy smokers. Dow just, it opened up positive, and that was really good for us because it allowed us to get out of all those positions we had, and then it just collapsed. And Dow ended up closing down 236 points. Now, you might think that's a bad thing. No, this is a great thing. I'm very happy about this. This is very healthy for the Dow. Hey, if we make $27,000 on a day the Dow goes down 236 points, we're going to make a lot of money when it comes back. So I'm very pleased with this action. This gets us out of this congestion stuff that we were having up here and having some trouble with. So very pleased with this Dow action, and very pleased with what we were able to do with it today. I'll show you three of the trades, and I'll show you first of all the problem that we're having. This is Experian. I showed you this yesterday. We bought this monstrous gap. I had somebody email me today asking me if I didn't put limits into my buy positions to avoid gaps, and I'm not in any way making fun of him at all, but I gave him a screenshot of this and says, no, I don't do buy limits. I want those gaps, and this is a perfect example. Look at this huge gap was like 60 some percent, maybe 70%. We bought it. It closed pretty good yesterday, and it popped up here. And folks, this thing was up to about $25,000 up here at the very top, and we get out, but it pulls back, and we got 13,000 out of it. Now, I shouldn't complain about 13,000, but that was quite a drop from the open, and that's where this, when we went from 36,000 to 21,000, this was one of the stocks where a lot of those profits got ate up in. But still, hey, we got out with 13,000. I think it was a little bit better than yesterday. So I'm very pleased with this Experian, despite this early sell-off that cost us some money. I'll show you another one here. This is absolutely a dream trade. I mean, you don't get the ones like this. This is AUPH, which is Aurinia Pharmaceuticals. We had bought this yesterday. First 45 minutes, it really did nicely, closed very nicely, but then look at this big gap up, and what happens? We basically get out almost at the top of that market, and then it collapses. I mean, you just don't get it. We get the breakout, we stay in, and we get out at the top of the move. Beautiful, beautiful. That one was worth $8,000. Just absolutely picture perfect trade in Aurinia Pharmaceuticals. Love that one. And then I'll show you just one of those two positions that we got into today, which is so nice. As I say, we made all our money in biotech this morning and getting out, and yet because of that collapse and the biotech went into the toilet, we get long LABD, which is inverse biotech. It's a biotech bear. We get into this the second hour, and it just keeps going, closes almost on its high, and we have over $6,000 in what is in effect a short position in biotech. And I say, hey, trading just doesn't go that good normally, but it went that well for us today. Just a beautiful, picture perfect day. I love it. Trader Bob's happy. Hey, you guys have a nice evening, and I'll be back here online tomorrow on Wednesday.